There is a contrast in the two gospel readings we hear on Palm Sunday. The first one at the beginning of Mass cries out, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." People are cheering, rejoicing, proclaiming him. And then to hear the Passion read, where many in that same group cry out, "Crucify him!" That the same group who were praising are now calling for his death. From Palms to Passion. And how does it happen? Because you see, Jesus knew it was coming. Jesus knew what was going to happen when he came to Jerusalem. Towards the end of his active ministry, he's dropping hints left and right saying, we're going to go to Jerusalem, where the Son of Man will be handed over. He will be betrayed, he will be crucified, he will die, and 3 days later he will rise. And they didn't understand. But he kept pointing out, it's going to happen at Jerusalem. I'm going to die. It's going to be a terrible death, but there will be hope. Two things to point out in this. First, he knew it was coming. Friends, we got to get this really clear. He knew what was awaiting him in Jerusalem. He saw the cross. He knew the agony. He knew about the betrayal, the humiliation, the abandonment, the pain, the suffering, the agony. He knew it all. He knew it all completely. And second, he ran toward it. He didn't hide. He didn't take a different path. He ran right into the threat, right into the pain. And as I've been thinking for several weeks now about what's the illustration that speaks to this, the example I have is that of a firefighter. Please consider this. When there's a building and it's ablaze and there's even the threat that there might be people inside, everybody else, after you call 911, is leaving the space. They're getting away. They're removing themselves because it's a fire. The thing could go down. Something unforeseen can happen. It can blow up. Get away. Move back. Stay away from the blaze. That's true for most of the people. But what do the firefighters do? They run toward it. They come right into it. Now, granted, they've been trained, and granted, they've got gear, and granted, they've got one another. But they run knowing what could happen, knowing all the things that can happen when fire gets turned loose, knowing the potential threat, danger to their own lives, and they run toward it. Not away, toward. They run because they're trying to save lives. That's what we have. That's what we have with Jesus. He's running to the fire to save our lives. He's running into the pain and the agony, the humiliation for us, to save us, to do what we can't do by ourselves, to get us out of the fire, to get us into safety, to give us back our lives. And he's going to cost him his life to save us. The question on this Palm Sunday is, what's going to be our response? Because sometimes it happens in a burning building when there's someone trapped. Fear just overwhelms them. And imagine, it's so easy. A firefighter can come in covered in soot and ashes and says, "Give me your hand. Give me your hand and I will get you out." And if the fear is too great and it's too overwhelming, sometimes the person gets paralyzed. And the firefighter keeps saying, "Give me your hand so I can set you free." Because that's the invitation of Jesus to us. You see, sometimes we can hold on to things that are keeping us held down and imprisoned. Fear, worry, sin, grief. There are things in our past that can trap us and chain us and bind us. And the Lord comes to us in the midst of the fire and says, "Give me your hand. Open your hand so I can take you out of this pain into safety. Give me your hand so I can set you free. Please take hold of my hand. Let go of the past and grab onto the present so I can lead you into a future. Give me your hand." Folks, what are we holding on to? Because as we enter into the heart of Holy Week, into the great mystery of what God has done for us, what are the things that are holding us back? What is it that we've been nursing? Grudges, wounds, fears. What is it? Doubts, anxiety, stress. What is it? Anger, hatred. He invites us to let it go, to take his hand. He has something better for us. He has something precious for us. He has a love for us that has no limit. Will we take his hand and be led out of the fire into a safety and a life that he has prepared? Because he has given his life in the fire to set us free from the blaze. He paid for our lives with his blood on the cross out of love for every human soul. What is it in our hearts that needs to be let go so we can let God take us by the hand into freedom, in love, through this life to the life to come? God help us. God bless us all.